Hi kids, today I have a funny story about working together. It's called Farmer Herman and the Flooding Barn, a story about 344 people working together to solve a big problem. Are you ready to hear about this big problem? Can you imagine what it might be? Farmer Herman had a fantastic farm. He had some amazing animals and a lovely piece of land. But he had a barn with a big problem. What do you think it is? You see, Farmer Herman's barn was at the bottom of a hill. When it rained, the water would run down the hill and flood the barn. Oh my goodness, look at those cows in the water. When the water would flood the barn, it would fill it way up high so that the barn couldn't be used for anything. If Farmer Herman had needed an indoor swimming pool, he would have been all set. However, he did not need an indoor swimming pool. He needed a barn. And a barn with a bunch of water in it just wouldn't do. If you were Farmer Herman, what would you do? You could drop a highly trained team of fluffy parachuting sheep to soak up the water. Sheep look like they could soak up water. But you know, that would be silly. Everyone knows that if you leave a pile of soggy sheep sitting around for too long, they get moldy. Frank the rooster is allergic to mold. Frank thinks we should skip the sheep idea. I know. You could buy a herd of pet elephants that could suck up all the water with their long trunks and shoot it out. But I guess that would also be silly. Everyone knows that if you have a barn, you have to be willing to put up with some mice. And elephants don't like mice. Wait, of course, you could get a bunch of buckets and just scoop the water out. But that's silly too, because the last time we got out the buckets, the cats kept using them as boats. You could try asking them not to do this, but let's be honest, you just can't reason with a cat. Here's an idea. You could get 344 friends to come over and help you pick up the barn and move it to a place where there was no more water. Now that is really silly. Let me just tell you how silly that is. It is so silly because, now wait a minute, wait just a minute, that might work. Farmer Herman and his son, Farmer Mike, thought it was silly at first too, but then they thought about it. Farmer Mike went out to the barn and started measuring and counting. He counted up all the boards in the whole barn. He added up their weight and figured out that the barn weighed just over 16,000 pounds. That is really heavy. Now 16,000 pounds is really heavy. That is heavier than 75 pudgy pigs. See all those pigs? It's heavier than 6,000 phone books. Ask an adult what those are. However, Farmer Herman and Farmer Mike figured out that 344 friends all working together could lift something that is 16,000 pounds, like a barn, for example. So they went to work. They crisscrossed metal bars through the barn so that it would not fall apart when they picked it up. The bars also made great handles. After a lot of planning, a lot of work, and a lot of math, the day to move the barn finally came. I'm thinking they had to eat breakfast first. There's the newspaper that says it's time to move the barn. On one July morning, 344 people showed up to move the barn, and 4,000 people came to watch. Farmer Herman used a microphone and a loudspeaker to help everyone know what they should do. Everybody got in their positions. They reached down at the same time and grabbed a handle. When Farmer Herman told them to lift up on the handles, guess what happened? The barn came up off the ground. Everyone that had come to watch couldn't believe their eyes. After all, they had never seen people pick up a barn before. Everyone cheered. When Farmer Herman asked his 344 friends to start carrying the barn up the hill, guess what happened then? They did just what Farmer Herman said, and the barn started slowly moving up, 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 up the hill. The barn had a new spot on the farm. It was dry. It was perfect. And it only happened because Farmer Herman was willing to try something really silly and do it together with 344 of his friends. If you were to ask Farmer Herman how someone like you could accomplish something so big and so silly together with a bunch of your friends, do you know what he would tell you? He would say, go for it. Hey, wait a minute. This book isn't done yet. There is still one drawing missing. It's yours, and you can do this at home. Draw your favorite animal in the space below, number 344. Now the book is done, and we did it together. Ask Mom to get you a piece of paper and a pencil and maybe some crayons if you want to make it really colorful and really cool, and draw a big circle so you can draw that picture in the center of your favorite animal. You guys have a great day, and think about all the people that can work together to get things done. Bye.